All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2024 Cancer Survivorship Conference. My name is Matthew Odette, and they wanted to have me introduce myself in a couple sentences. So I like long walks on the beach. I'm 5'4" and a half. No. I'm a 26-year-old creative. I have a passion for filmmaking, and I'm personally attached to this. I had cancer when I was 7 years old, and so I'm very grateful to be here today and be your MC. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thanks for everybody who is here today, and I'm really excited to just be here together and to share and learn some more. So. It's going to be packed today with great conversations with topics curated by survivors, caregivers, and a team of providers and survivorship experts at the University of Minnesota's Masonic Cancer Center and M Health Fairview. So now speaking of survivorship experts, here's one you may know. Dr. Blaes has many titles, including Director of Cancer Survivorship Services and Translational Research. She is a medical oncologist and one of the co-hosts of today's event. I'm pleased to invite Dr. Blaes to the stage.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning. Thanks to all of you for being here today. When we got the weather forecast and it said sunny and 70, I thought, oh, how many people are actually going to come? So I'm super excited you're here. I can assure you, or I anticipate, you won't be disappointed with the day that's planned for you. But really, thank you, whether you're here in the room or watching remotely. We're super happy that you're here. It's really a joy to be able to bring this conference back in person, and this is our second year hosting the Survivorship Conference as a hybrid event, and we're thrilled with the amount of participation in the room as well as the audience that's online. I'm also thrilled we're in this space. We haven't been in McNamara for several years, and it's really exciting to be back on campus. We were trying to remember about our 18th year doing our conference, and I will tell you that one of the most fun things about it is watching people interact, watching people get to ask good questions, to learn, and I'm really thankful all of you are here. Let's take a quick look at who's with us today. So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. So if you're in the middle of eating something, put your fork down for a second. So can I see a show of hands for anyone who's received a cancer diagnosis, regardless of where you're at in your treatment? Okay. For those folks online, feel free to type into the chat box what kind of cancer you've had and any information you want to share. We're defining really a cancer survivor. Sometimes people will ask me, who is a cancer survivor? Well, really, the American Cancer Society and the National Cancer Institute would tell you a cancer survivor is anybody from the time of their diagnosis through the trajectory of their life. So wherever you fit in that point of your journey, welcome and thank you for being here. This is an awesome community of survivors, as well as caregivers and support people around all of us, and we're grateful for all of you being here. Survivorship doesn't end, though. I know that there are so many people who are also on this journey. So can I see a show of hands for our caregivers, family members, and friends that are here today? Awesome. Similarly, for the folks online, feel free to put some information in the chat box. What about our group of professionals? We have so many organizations here with us providing great resources and information, plus the clinicians, researchers, community health workers who are here today. Can I see a raise of hands and chats from our virtual attendees for our support teams? Awesome. Many of them are still in the back at our tables. We're really grateful for all of you being here today. So many of you may know that it's estimated that in the US there are over 18 million cancer survivors, according to the National Cancer Institute. And if each of these 18 million cancer survivors had just a few people in their lives, not including their care teams, we'd see a quarter of the US population whose lives have been touched by cancer. So you can see just how big of a population the survivor community is. And it's for all of you, survivors, caregivers, care teams, and supporters, everyone here today, that we are so proud to host this event. But we can't do the event alone. So I'd like to thank our sponsors at the event today. A big thank you to Pfizer, Lilly Oncology, AstraZeneca, and the National Children's Cancer Society. Can we give them a round of applause? In addition to those groups, there are dozens more organizations with in-person and virtual exhibits, and as we've heard, take your time today to meet with many of them. As I think about this conference and how it's evolved over time, we hear from you. Who is it and what types of topics do you want to hear about? Oftentimes when I take care of patients, when they come in with a cancer diagnosis and through their journey, many of them talk to me about their chemotherapy, their surgery. But really today's focus on how do we continue to stay well. So you're going to hear about pieces of that, but really the focus of the meeting is about how to stay well. I can tell you I'm oftentimes inspired by all of you sharing your story, all of you being willing to come back and talk to us, telling us what you need, what we've done well, and in some cases, what we can do better. So as you're here today, do know that all of the team is here to support you. And at the end of the day, please fill out your evaluation, because that's how we really base what is it that everyone wants to hear about. We have a robust agenda for you centered on this year's theme, the artistry of resilience, creating strength post-cancer diagnosis. And I can tell you, I know all of you in this audience, whether you feel like it or not, are resilient. And I hope you pause today, think of the sun shining in, and really think about that. This is an all-encompassing topic, so you'll see a variety of great topics in our breakout sessions today across various areas of artistry and resiliency. So to start things off, I'm pleased to share our first session of the day. In recent years, we have made it our focus to include stories throughout this conference. And this year, we are pleased to invite Katina Lane-Fomby to tell us about her story. Go ahead and come on up, Katina. And as Katina's making her way up here, she and I met a number of years ago, and she's going to tell you her story herself. So I'm really excited that she is here, and thanks for inviting her up here. Thanks for being here.
So thank you, Dr. Blaes. She's amazing, and I'll tell you more about her in a minute. So as Dr. Blaes said, my name is Katina Lane-Fomby. On March 10th of 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 2 infiltrating ductal carcinoma, also known as invasive breast cancer. And so when I initially got the diagnosis, I wasn't expecting a breast cancer diagnosis. I was healthy, I didn't eat red meat, I didn't eat pork, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I worked out, I wasn't overweight. All of the things that you typically hear about those that may have a cancer diagnosis. And besides that, I didn't have any warning signs. No lump, no nothing. And mine was actually under my arm, which they call the tail of the breast. So then the journey started. So as I said, it was March 10th of 2014. And so as the journey progressed, I went through 13 months of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, surgery, therapy, still wearing this fabulous diva glove called a compression glove because I still am battling a little lymphedema. But I wanted to kind of share my story as a message of hope because I am a testament. I have a strong faith, and I am a testament to God's grace that He does heal and restore. So I wanted to share with you all today to give you a message of hope for those that just about to get the diagnosis, those that are in that journey, and those that are on the other side like myself. I know we go through a lot of feelings and emotions. You know, I lost my hair, and I have my husband, Chris, here, and my sister friend, Kimberly. And at the time, yes, give it up for them. Part of my tribe, I always say that, you know, I had to drive that bus, but there were a lot of people on the bus with me. At the time of my diagnosis, Chris and I were dating. And I remember it was in May of 2014. At that point, all of my hair had came out, and I went and I shopped for this fabulous wig, right? One of my sisters is a hairstylist, and I said, look, I'm not that diva girl who, and this is not, nothing against anyone that puts on a scarf or a hat. It's whatever it is where you are. But for me, I needed to feel whole. And so I bought this wig, and I remember going to the airport, and I picked up Chris from the airport. He was still living in Cleveland. It was around my mom's birthday, Memorial Day weekend, so a lot of things were going on at that time. And I remember Chris getting in the car, and he says, oh, your hair looks nice. And I said, thank you. I said, but Chris, it's a wig. And once we get home to my mom's house, I'll show you. And so that was a tough space for me because, again, you have someone who, whether he signed on for it or not, he heard the call and he answered, right? Because, again, we were dating. And so, I had the support of at that time, again, like I said, we were dating. We got engaged in August of 2014. And I remember I finished chemo 4 months before my wedding. And in December of 2014, I had no hair. And so for all of those that are married or dream to be married, who wants to, on their wedding day, not have any hair or even have to wear a wig? And so I did a lot of praying, and I have a fabulous hairstylist who specializes in hair growth and hair restoration. And so I remember in January, I teased her and I said, her name is Shonda McDaniel. And I said, Shonda, I think I got just enough hair for you to curl. And so we called it my first curl, right? And so she's like, you absolutely do. And I think I had maybe a half of an inch. And so between January and August, we got married on August 8th of 2015 because the number 8 is significant in the Bible for new beginnings. And so, boy, did I need a new beginning because the last 13 months had definitely been a journey. But I am so grateful, especially to caregivers, to doctors such as you, Dr. Blaes, because I went through a few oncologists. Some cared more than others. But Dr. Blaes, by the time I got to you, I had very little trust in oncologists. But you helped to restore my trust. She made me feel like I was the only patient. And I know that's not true because so many of us are making that journey. But you made me feel like I mattered so much. You listened. If I said the smallest thing, she's like, Katina, let's check it out. And then we got real close, and she started calling me Tina. My family is the only one that calls me Tina. But to me, Dr. Blaes, you're like family because you treated me as a doctor, as a patient, with so much love and care and respect. And so when you called me, she said, Katina, I got something funny for you. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Okay, funny's good. I could use a laugh right now. So when you called me and asked, would I just kind of share my story? It was truly an honor. Because I know sometimes when we're making that cancer journey, it's a tough place. It's a place where we don't want to hear that things will get better. We don't want to hear that your hair will grow back. We don't want to hear that you're going to survive it because in that moment when you hear the C word, you automatically think death. And so I'm just so grateful for the scientists, for the doctors, for the nurses, for everyone who has invested your time, your knowledge, your experience in helping us get one step closer to finding a cure for this mean disease. But I tell friends and family that as crazy as it seems, I thank God for cancer, for my diagnosis. Well, you say, Katina, why would you thank God for cancer? Because it was because of my cancer journey that my faith increased. I met so many people, those that were making their journey and others that were just simply there to support me. And had it not been for cancer, they wouldn't have never been in my life, and our lives never wouldn't have crossed. So I just want to share with you that there is definitely hope after a cancer diagnosis. When you have amazing doctors on your team, when you have amazing friends and family that support you, colleagues, leaders. At the time I had gotten diagnosed, I had just started a new job at 3M, and I remember telling my mentor, who eventually became my manager at the time, I said, Rhonda, I can't take this job because I don't know what the next 12 months of my life are going to look like. She said, you're going to take this job and you are going to come out victorious. So I never say that I'm typically a breast cancer survivor. I say that I am a breast cancer defeater, because my attitude was that I was just not going to survive breast cancer. I was going to defeat breast cancer. So this jacket that I'm wearing today, I had a lady that makes clothes for me. So you think about camouflage, and you think about war, and you think about battle. So this is my battle jacket, right? I told her, I said, I want a battle jacket. And I told her, I said, cancer picked the wrong one. So as a result of everything that I've gone through, I've been able to help so many countless others that have been diagnosed with not just breast cancer, but any form of cancer. And every year, whether it's here, when they're making strides, or the Susan G. Komen, I actually have a team, and we're called the Defeaters. And so that's our mantra, that we just don't survive breast cancer. We defeat breast cancer. So I hope it's just something that I've shared with you. I'm always willing to share, because I know that sometimes doctors may give us a perspective, but other times you want to hear from people that have actually walked that road. And so I'm always happy to share, to be a means of encouragement as you are going through your journey, and just letting you know again that there is definitely hope after a breast cancer or any cancer diagnosis. So thank you so much. Go with confidence, and remember, let's defeat cancer. And Dr. Blaes, I just have something. I always tell people that I can't let you outlove me, right? So I'm a little competitive, and so I can't let you outlove me. So I had something, and I'm big on monogram and personalized things. So can I share your gift with everyone? All right. So I have a lot of doctors, so I think I'm qualified to say that who should get the title of the best doctor ever. So I had you some very nice pens engraved with her name, and it says, Dr. Ann Blaes, best doctor ever.
Thanks for sharing this. Wow, I don't know how I come up here after that. So if I look a little red, you kind of know why. Thank you, Katina, for sharing your story. So beautiful. And I think, I hope that as all of you hear stories throughout the day, you reflect on your own journey. And really, I think personalizing, that's why we want to hear from all of you.